Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for computer applications at Ozarka College. Today what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of feedback on the Excel Module 2 activities that I finished grading yesterday. And then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for Excel Module 3. And then also tell you a little bit about the Excel production exam that we'll have coming up due after spring break. Okay, so the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the Excel Module 2 assignments yesterday. So if you haven't already gone in and looked at your grades for those and read the grading comments, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Let me know if you have any questions. If I did have to count any points off, I tried to be very specific on exactly what formatting or formulas or functions that you missed, and what you should have done to get the points. But if you do have questions, just let me know. Overall, most of you did very well on the assignments, and like I always tell you, I really appreciate those of you that are putting the time and effort in. So keep up the good work on that. Now that being said, there were a few of you that had some problems with the formulas and functions and a little bit of formatting. But just on the formulas and functions, let remind everyone that it's very important for you to insert the specified formulas and functions into the worksheet. And a couple of reasons why. The first thing is that's the main thing that we're learning about. That one of the main outcomes or objectives of learning how to use Excel is to learn how to input the formulas and functions. That's one of the main purposes of using Excel. One other major reason is that when you insert formulas and functions, instead of just inserting the calculated values, when you go to update the worksheet later on, it will automatically recalculate all those formulas and functions for you, and also create any charts, recreate any charts that are based on those calculated values. But if you just input the calculated values, that's no better than text in the cell, and you're not going to be able to do any calculations. Anytime you make updates to the worksheet, you're going to have to, on a calculator or some other calculation device, you're going to have to do all those calculations by hand. So the whole point of using Excel is so that we learn how to input formulas and functions correctly in our worksheet, so that it saves us a lot of time later on. So just kind of keep that in mind. And just like I say in the instructions for the Excel assignments, the entering the formulas and functions correctly is a major part of your grade on these Excel assignments. So like I said, most of you did very well with the formulas and functions, but there were a couple of you who probably need to make sure you're taking a little bit more time to make sure you're following the instructions on the assignments. All right? So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. All right? On the Excel Module 2 objective test, most of you did well on that. Just as a reminder, you can take those tests as many times as you want to up until the due date, and your highest grade is automatically recorded. So I just thought I'd remind you about that. All right, so that brings us to what we've got coming up due next. So if we go to the activities page in my Ozarka, right now we are on the last part of week 8 of the semester. Okay, we're just about through with week 8. We don't have anything else due this week, of course, and actually we don't have work due during next week or spring break. So you've got some time to work on Excel Module 3, which is due the Sunday following spring break. Okay? What I would suggest is, if you want to have your spring break off, if you don't want to have to do anything that weekend at the end of spring break, then you need to go ahead and be working on Excel Module 3 the rest of this week and next week, if you want to have your week of spring break off from having to do work for this class. So if I was you, I would go ahead and get started on Excel Module 3 as soon as possible, and that way you have plenty of time to get it submitted before spring break, and then you're not trying to do it that Sunday at the end of spring break. Okay. Now, Excel Module 3 is going to include a lot of steps that we haven't looked at in previous modules. This Module 3, it's going to have you do some more complex formulas and functions, and it's going to have you, when you create the chart, it's going to have you do some things to the chart like filtering and so forth that we haven't done yet. So there's a lot of new objectives or outcomes that you're going to learn about in Excel Module 3. Some things that we have not done before. So that's another reason to go ahead and get started as soon as possible, because there's only one assignment for Excel Module 3, but it's going to take a good amount of time to complete. It's a fairly complex worksheet and chart, and it's going to have you do quite a few things as far as formatting and graphing and so forth. And so I would highly recommend getting started as soon as possible. All right. What I would suggest also is remember those demonstration videos at the bottom of the assignment page. I would definitely recommend watching those because it will definitely help you as you work your way through the textbook steps in completing the worksheet and the chart. All right. So in these demonstration videos, I show you step by step how to complete all the creation of the worksheet and the formatting and the formulas and functions and the charting, all of those things I show you in these demonstration videos. So I would highly recommend watching those. Also, make sure that you carefully read the instructions that I've got here for this assignment. It's going to remind you about the formulas and functions, and about at the end of the module, they're going to have you make some changes to the worksheet data, and so make sure you're doing those steps. And then it's also going to have you make some changes to the worksheet, or no, I'm sorry, to the chart, and then undo those changes. So just make sure that you're working all the way through the steps and that you do all the steps. If you have any questions as you're working, just let me know. Again, those demonstration videos will really help to guide you in the right direction. So, but like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Let's go back to the activities page. If you do have a question about Excel Module 3, I would like you to submit your question on the Excel Module 3 help discussion here under week 11. That way, once I read your question and I answer it, other students that may have similar questions will get some benefit from that. So just use that Excel Module 3 help discussion if you do have questions. Okay, let's see. The only other thing I need to tell you about is that's due under week 11 is the Excel production exam. That will be available from Monday through Wednesday after spring break, which is March 31st through April 2nd. All right, so it'll be a pretty quick turnaround after spring break. So make sure that you're, like I said, working on that Excel Module 3 work next week, and be studying for the Excel production exam. That production exam will be very similar as far as what you're going to be doing, very similar to what you did in the Excel modules 1 and 2 assignments. So to study for the production exam, I would go back and study those assignments. Maybe redo some of those assignments just so you kind of refresh your memory on exactly how to do the various tasks, like formatting the worksheet and entering the formulas and functions and creating the chart. All right? And I will send out more information about the production exam sometime next week, so be looking for that. And the last thing I need to say is I did post midterm grades yesterday, so if you haven't already gone in and looked at your midterm grade, go ahead and do that as soon as you can, and let me know if you have any questions. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. It should be whatever your percentage grade is, what the letter grade equivalent to that is. So, what the corresponding letter grade is. So, it shouldn't be a surprise, but if it is, just let me know, and I'll be glad to look at it for you. That's really all I have for you for today. So, just like I said, let me know if you have questions. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your spring break, and I will talk to you again sometime after spring break. Thank you.